Oh, so nice. This is my Live Fine towel warmer, and I'm completely in love with it. I've had it for a little while now, but before I purchased it, I had a lot of questions, and I wanted to try and answer those questions for you so that you have your answers before you buy. First, it's a very cool design. It's got a sort of wood simulated handle. It's plastic, but it's a bucket style. There's a slightly larger one that has double the capacity, and it only has two buttons on it. It's got a power button and it's got the button for setting the timer. This button also doubles as a hot light, like Krispy Kreme. For example, if I turn it off, the light will start flashing red to let you know that the surface in here is still hot, so that you get a little bit of a heads up in case you're reaching into this thing. You don't want to burn yourself. So that's pretty cool. When it's on, you can cycle through the timers here: 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, or 60 minutes. At the end of the timing cycle, it'll shut off. The hot light will stay blinking for as long as the temperature inside determines that you probably don't want to go touching the inside without a heads up. So that's a really cool safety feature. Now for the questions. First question is, can I put wet things in it? And the manufacturer recommends that no, you don't put wet things in it. They actually do say in the instructions that if you do put wet things in it, it will take longer for them to warm up. So they do acknowledge that wet things might go into it, but they do recommend for best results that you don't put wet things in it. It's going to take it longer to warm up if you try that. My next question was, what kind of cord does it have and how long is it? It's a 3-prong grounded plug, so that's great for use in wet environments. You definitely want to make sure that it's grounded. And it's about 6 feet long, so that's actually a pretty decent length as well. So it should reach most outlets that you would want to plug it into. The next question is, can you use it outside for like a hot tub or a swimming pool? And the answer to that is, yeah, you can, with an asterisk. You want to make sure that you're not using it in a super wet environment. I mean, it is a piece of electronics after all, but you can use it outside. I would bring it in and not store it outside. Bring it in at night when you're done using it. But I can tell you that after a cold plunge, having a nice warm towel out of this is phenomenal. All right, my next question is, how big is it? Now, it looks pretty big sitting next to me on the table like this. That's mostly the camera angle. It's not huge. It's approximately 13 by 13, it's round after all, by about 14. I'm rounding up by about a half an inch on each of those. It's not huge. The larger size, I think, is about 7 or 8 inches larger than that. So it's more of a column than a bucket. And this size will hold one 40 by 70 inch towel. The taller one will hold two 40 by 70 inch towels. All right, next question. Will it heat my X? This is good for more than just heating towels. You can use it to heat washcloths. You can use it to heat bathrobes, which is especially nice, I can tell you. You can use it to heat baby blankets, and I can tell you from experience, it is really nice for heating pajamas. I just happen to have a little blankie in it right now. Oh my gosh, look at that. Oh, so nice. This is nice and warm. I've had this heating in here for like 20 minutes now, and this thing is nice and warm. It's borderline hot. I feel like Linus. My next question, and this is a question for after I purchased it. What's that clicking noise? The clicking noise is the thermostat, turning the heat on and off to keep your, in this case, a blanket at a set temperature. You don't want it to get too hot. You don't want it to cool back down. So you will hear the thermostat in this clicking on and off. If you're in the shower, obviously you won't hear that. If you're swimming, obviously you won't hear that. But if you're in a quiet room, you will hear this click on and off as it heats and cools. Next question is, what color should I get? I got the white one, and here's where the one criticism I have for this comes into play, and that is that on the white one, the display is a little bit hard to read. You can see that the white around the digital letters is about the same color as the digital letters themselves, so it's a little bit difficult to read. That's not really a huge problem. It's a very small gripe, because when you turn it on, you know that you're setting it to 15, 30, 45, or 60. You can see it's counting down here now. It's at 53 minutes, but it's a little bit hard to read on the white surface. If I had gotten one of the darker ones, that would have been a little bit easier to read. It's not a huge deal, but I did want to make sure to note that. Also, the white, a little bit harder to keep clean, just because it's white. But I knew that going into it. And my last question is, do I recommend it? And the answer to that is absolutely yes. It is so nice to have a hot towel after a shower, a hot towel after a cold plunge or a swim, on a cool night getting out of a hot tub. It is so nice. Warming up pajamas in this thing, warming up the baby blankets when our niece is visiting. All of these things are an absolute dream. It's actually more versatile than you would think. And so for all of these reasons, I would recommend it. So those are all the questions that I had before I purchased, and I hope I've answered your questions as well. If you found this helpful, please like this video. If you have any questions that I didn't answer, please drop them in the comments below. So I hope that helps.